welcome back to another episode of the MindSets podcast. It's episode 91. Life's grooving. What's up with you?
I came with an interesting fact today.
Yes.
As a different way to start the episode.
Come on.
And it's about the number 91.
Oh.
So it's not interesting even a little bit.
Okay.
Often mistaken as a prime number is number 91. Yeah, because it's not a prime number.
What's it divisible by?
7 times 13. It's not divisible by 2, 3, or 5 though. So I believe that makes it a semi-prime or a
I didn't know that was a thing.
Me neither.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that is a good fact though.
It is a good fact.
Wow. I don't know when I'll use that again, but thanks.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to commit to making a fact now about each number for the beginning of the
actually,
episode.
okay, we'll have Charles's fact corner each episode.
God.
Another thing that's worth mentioning for the people that are watching, welcome. For the people that aren't, you're welcome. Just get over to YouTube and subscribe while you're there. New hat. I like it.
I needed a. Well, this actually isn't a casual hat. It's still a training cap, but I'm gonna wear it as my formal cap.
Is it actually new or is it new to the podcast?
No, it's like new as of last week.
Did you get it in the 50% sale?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
You had
beat
to.
me to it.
You had to, yeah.
I filled my basket, really annoying me. So we're talking about an LSKD cap, by the way. I filled my basket with stuff. I then went away for a few hours, not realizing that I had just conveniently timed it to exactly when the sale started, came back and everything was gone.
Oh.
Everything was gone.
Oh, no.
Really sad.
Yeah, that's gutting.
So I got nothing.
Shame.
Should have looked at the caps, maybe. Anyway, today, ladies and gentlemen, we are rolling back the years. One of the most fascinating parts for me about training is like how to train. This is why we do what we do on the podcast. But how did the first people train when it comes to the gym? Don't know about you. Why did you start going to the gym?
I think actually it wasn't necessarily aesthetics, because I think that's what you're going down the route of. I just went to the gym because I wanted to get really fit, which I don't know if that's like a normal, I think as like a 15, 16-year-old boy, you go because you want to get massive biceps and a massive chest and do loads of bench press. But for me, I was like, I want to get really fit. I went
for two reasons. Yeah. The main one was that I wanted to be more aesthetic. The next one was I just wanted to be better at sport.
Yeah.
Because so many of my mates had started going and were just like a little bit stronger than me. And
I think that was my first introduction into the gym was, okay, you have to go now because your sport requires you to do it. And then I went and I was like, oh, I can see the actual benefits from doing this in my performance. What's like the next level? And it's like, well, you can get really fit, really strong, and like much more athletic if you keep going to the gym.
Whereas I was like, I want to be jacked.
Yeah.
The thing is though, I personally never started going to the gym wanting to be a bodybuilder. Like I didn't want to be that level of jacked.
No.
I just wanted to be
bigger.
Not fully jacked, if that makes sense.
It's a certain type of person who wants to go to the gym and look like a bodybuilder. There's a lot of commitment.
But we're going to be discussing those people today. So the reason I haven't said it explicitly as well is because I've also realized that we don't necessarily have to say word for word what the topic is, because the lovely people listening and watching have seen the title.
Nice.
So thanks for reading, guys. Saved me a job.
So good at reading.
But we are going to be talking about how the OGs of bodybuilding used to train. So rolling back the years, the golden era was between the sort of mid-65, 1965 to sort of the 80s. So we're going to be going through what training looked like for them when they were going and starting it off, really, both from the perspective of what their split was to actually what their sessions look like, which is where it gets crazy. Because I also was reading through this the other day and I was like, wonder if there's anything that I could actually take, because it clearly worked for them. Don't get me wrong, they were drinking all of the funky water, but I wonder if there's anything that I could do from their sessions. And there's relevance to that as well.
Okay.
But first of all, we're going to do what we always do.
Yeah.
The 2-minute news.
Sure. I'll be in charge of the timing.
Okay. Well,
I'll kick it off as well.
Sure. All right.
So I don't need to give myself a countdown.
I mean, you've basically written the whole of the news.
Should I give a performative countdown?
Yeah, go on.
All right. Charles, are you ready? Yes. 3, 2, 1. Tennis news first. At Roland Garros, Novak Djokovic and Jannik Sinner both knocked out. So leaving the tournament basically wide open.
Ruined our podcast.
I know, not great. PSG won the Champions League, beating Arsenal on penalties the other night. in the Premiership Rugby, the Gallagher Prem, Newcastle beat the Red Bulls. I don't know if you saw the highlights of this or any of this, but they beat Sale literally in the last play, in the last minute, and they ran like the length of the field to score. It was really good to see. Anthony Gordon was bought by Barcelona from Newcastle for like crazy amounts of money, and then broke the internet by doing his interview in Spanish, which was kind of cool.
Sick. And you told me before the show that's because he always wanted to play for Barcelona.
Yeah. He said he'd been learning as a kid just because that was his dream. That's a really cool story. I like that. Mats Bergen, a little bit more niche. He was running the Diamond League in Rabat. Won his 800 meter race. That was a really good, if you haven't seen that, good British 800 meter runner. Lots of good pedigree and depth in the British middle distance at the moment, so go and watch that. This one is actually mental, but I don't know if it's going to mean anything to anyone. But Simon Ehammer jumped 8 meters 51 in the long jump, which is like a serious jump anyway, but he's a decathlete, so it was, in the decathlon. So it's a decathlon world record for the long jump. It was a season lead, I think, overall, not just in decathlon, and national record for Switzerland. Like, crazy. Go and watch that jump, it's huge. And then the final one I've got is Jonas Vingegaard won the Giro d'Italia, so looking good for his season and in the lead up to the Tour de France.
Yeah, we do actually need to cover his training in an episode, because I mean he's well on form.
We could do Jonas versus Tadej Pogacar.
Oh, what an episode that is.
Heavy hitters. That would be good.
Yeah. Well, if you guys listening, I think that was the end of the news. So what time are we on? 1:58.
I know.
That was class. Okay, look at us actually doing what we said.
Wow.
I'll just leave it to you next time. But yeah, that I think would be a pretty good episode. So if you guys listening would be interested to know how they are both training, but also what there might be in differences, then let us know. We will get that episode straight into your ears as soon as possible. Now, moving into today's topic then.
Let's do it.
So, famous faces from this golden era of bodybuilding. We're talking about the greats like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and we're going to mention a few other names as we go through here. But I think one of the first things that we should mention is what a gym looks like.
Crazy.
Because we are spoiled today with the number of gym options. The other thing to mention as well, and this might also be just because we're in the space, but I feel like a lot of people, a large amount of the population go to the gym.
Yeah.
Which definitely wasn't a thing back then. If you went to the gym, it's because you were into bodybuilding.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
It's kind of like a marginalized like part of society, wasn't it?
Exactly. But then because that was a marginalized part of society, everything was pretty basic.
Yeah.
And like most gyms were just kitted out with a lot of barbells, a lot of dumbbells, that kind of thing. So that meant that you had to be quite inventive with your movements, but it also meant that they didn't rely on equipment to train certain muscle groups. They had to understand their training a bit more, which is something that we don't do so well. Like,
it's a bit more like bootleggy, like, can we create this stimulus with this piece of equipment? Whereas now you go to the gym, it's like that machine creates that stimulus for you. But like the thing, a really good person to look at on YouTube if you're into bodybuilding or just want to look at more of the machines, etc., Ryan Terry, who's like one of the most famous British bodybuilders, multiple time Mr. Olympia. He's got his own gym facility now, like this massive space, like huge warehouse, really, really cool gym. And it has literally every machine you could possibly think of in there. And then the other really good one to look at, and this was like the first time that I'd seen so much nuance in equipment. Chris Bumstead, again, very, very well-decorated bodybuilder. He's got his own facility, but it's not like a public gym. Ryan's is a public gym, but Chris is where he trains.
Yeah.
It's basically like a really big garage. But he has like specific types of certain machines or machines that have been made specifically for him based off his body proportions or things that he wants to get out of them. But there's machines for, you name a muscle, not even like a muscle group, name a specific muscle.
With it, like a specific quad within the quadriceps.
There's a machine for it.
Yeah.
And like, and then there's 5 different variations of the same machine depending on like how you want to set up, whether you want it to be free weights or it's actually mental, like the variance of machines versus like you look at some of the photos that we've been looking at for gyms and bodybuilders when Arnold was training. It's literally just a barbell.
It's literally just a heavy object.
Yeah, literally.
Quite literally.
Yeah,
sometimes there's just like, oh, there's that thing that hasn't got a name. We just pick it up and it's hard. But like, I love that side of their training having to be so raw. But then it's also really cool how that's developed because, like you say, and I've had experience with some like really new school machinery, and like this is a dream, but you can actually start to see it in some public gyms now. Is you will have a machine that will train, I don't know, let's say some sort of squat, like a hack squat, but then you've just got different areas you can load plates to make a certain part of that movement, the sort of muscle group that you want to focus on.
Do you ever look at a machine and go, I'm actually not really sure what that does? And then also like how I even use that.
Big time. Big time. I went to a gym in Thailand when I was traveling, and they basically, it was just a front room for gym equipment. So they had all the latest, newest stuff out there. And there was like a squat machine. I would say hack squat. I would try and get it in. It was just a squat machine in that like it put the pads on your neck, but you had to get in, basically chop your head off because you pulled the pads in around your neck.
Really?
Lock it in.
It's like a roller coaster.
But then it was on multiple bearings. So it followed your squat pattern and only applied load vertically. But then again, you could load different pins and you could move those pins so that it matched your movement. The whole thing looked like it must have weighed in itself
Tons.
Yeah. But there were so many moving parts. But once you set it up to like follow your movement,
felt good.
God, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't, nobody has space for that.
No.
Too big. But it was really cool. But these guys, going back to them, did a lot of compound movements because compound movements generally are understood to get the most muscle growth. That's kind of subjective because it depends. If you're looking for muscle growth in one particular muscle, that's not necessarily the case, but they are extremely taxing exercises which hit a lot of the muscle groups within a variety of push, pull, or lower sort of split. So some of the main ones that still considered great lifts today: bench press, barbell rows. Another one is deadlifts. They've become more controversial because the risk to reward, but in every single old school bodybuilding video, if you look up anyone's name, Ronnie Coleman, just ripping heavy stuff off the floor. Obviously the squat as well. So they were large features in their training.
I think that's something that like when I was growing up and didn't necessarily know as much about training, but was looking at bodybuilders and how they train just for inspiration, really. I thought a lot of the aesthetics, they were just like performative. And that was like style over substance, but like these guys are really strong, like really strong.
It's insane.
Yeah. That's like I didn't say that because you like mentioned Ronnie Coleman, but like the guy could squat so many plates.
Well, I think that's the thing. Even when I was growing up and I was seeing a lot of YouTubers that were bodybuilders, the likes of like Zach Perner is like one that comes to mind, who was like jacked, but then you'd see his YouTube videos and he's actually like relatively weak for the fitness community. Like I think he was deadlifting 150 kilos as a max. He'd be benching maybe 105, 110, which when you compare to the likes of like Arnold Schwarzenegger and you see him doing 3 plates as a warm-up on bench, like it's just different. But those guys were jacked. I would also say that, and I'm not going to say that Zach Perner was on gear, but like a lot of the YouTubers of the age I was watching probably were, because they didn't have to say anything back then. They could get away with it. So they could be a lot bigger with a lot less intensity and a lot less work. Whereas these guys were on the forefront of steroids, but did an awful lot of work.
That's the one thing that like shocked me when we were looking at what they were actually doing in a day in a session. It's just like the overall volume is like, I can't even believe it.
Well, one of the things as well for the volume, because they were so limited on exercises when they were doing their accessory movements, so they would be doing a lot of things like free weights with dumbbell pushes, everything like that. But because dumbbells are so difficult to maneuver above your head, if you're going to do something like a dumbbell shoulder press, just volume was key. And that also played into quite a lot in how bodybuilding works, and that you do have to hit an amount of volume. One of the really interesting things though was, if we start moving into their like phases of training, a lot of them pre-show, if they were going to do a show across their 12-week block, that from the 12 weeks would start doing double days.
Really?
And one of the reasons of them doing double days was a lot of the bodybuilders didn't want to do cardio. But if they did double days with high enough volume, there's 2 ways, depending on the type of lifter, that they could train hard enough where actually it was kind of cardio. so they wouldn't have to do cardio because they'd just be shredding through doing the intensity. But one of the large things to mention with old school bodybuilding is you kind of fell into one of two categories. One of them was the high volume, lower intensity, where you did much longer training sessions and you did way more sets. So as an example, Arnold Schwarzenegger was known for being a high volume trainer. So he would do 4 to 5 sets per muscle group, or per exercise per muscle group, and he might do 4 to 5 exercises per muscle group. So if you're talking about like a push day, he would choose 5 exercises which work the chest or the triceps. He would then do 5 sets, not including warm-up sets, and they would all be to relatively high volume in reps as well. And then you might take the low volume lifter, which does a maximum of 3 exercises per muscle group, 3 sets per exercise, and reps probably no higher than 7 to 8 reps per set. They would usually, however, what's not talked about there is they would probably do up to 10 sets of warming up across that muscle group. But that would be super easy. But when they are going for those lower reps, they're going heavy. And that's more like the Ronnie Coleman. And the difference in their training is basically how they felt they recovered. So for those that were doing the heavier lifts, doing double days, they would space them out by about 8 hours, which was quite important because they really needed the recovery to deal with the load. But then when it came to the higher volume, the time between mattered less because it wasn't necessarily that heavy. It was just then you were having to manage your energy more than anything, because I don't know if we should get straight into this. I mean, look at what we're...
crazy, aren't they? But you mentioned the cardio thing, I think, quickly. It's like there wasn't necessarily as much access to something like a treadmill or like a cross trainer, elliptical, stairs in the gym. It was very, very primitive. Yeah, so you could go running. Sometimes they have like these really, really like old fashioned looking bikes that you could like spin your legs on, but like there wasn't that same culture. Whereas now, if you're a professional bodybuilder or you're prepping for a show in an amateur category or whatever, it's like, I'll get up early and I'll do 60 minutes on the steps, or I'll do X, Y, and Z. That's my cardio. And then like Sam Sulek's a really good example. Like when he's prepping for a show, he'll sit on the bike for so long. He'll do the cross trainer for so long. Most days actually, as well as his lifting session. And that just wasn't a thing in like the 60s, 70s, 80s, or like the golden era. But it's really interesting to see how that's kind of like changed and adapted over time.
Well, one of the things that hasn't changed so much is the way that the training worked across a week. So a lot of bodybuilders still operate on a weekly basis and operate on a 6-day training with one day rest. A lot of people will still use something similar, but my personal split at the moment, actually, let's talk about this, because it's not so much Hyrox, even though I could probably do a Hyrox because I'm still doing some cardio training.
Really gifted athlete.
But I'm really sub-elite. I'm really sub-elite. But my training at the moment, I enjoy the strength training side of things. So my training right now would be push on a Monday, let's say, pull on a Tuesday, legs on a Wednesday. Then I would do upper, so push and pull, then lower on a Friday, then some sort of long cardio on a Saturday, and then either, depending on how I'm feeling, either rest on Sunday or do anything to top up something that I didn't feel like I did enough of in the week. But that could literally just be like mobility and a bit more cardio. Around those sessions, Monday to Friday, I will also tag on 20 minutes to half an hour of some form of cardio. I will vary the intensity based on how my body feels.
Sure.
So like there might be 4 by 4 minutes relatively hard. It might be 30 minutes all easy. I might choose the Stairmaster because it's way easier for me, but my heart rate goes higher quicker than like me running. But then I might also do some running. That's kind of what my split looks like. And that is still fundamentally built off the idea that they used to use, which is allowing certain muscle groups to rest while working other ones. So
legs.
A typical one, apparently a very, very typical split for the higher volume guys was Monday would be back and chest. So you do both. Tuesday, you would do legs and arms. Wednesday, you would do shoulders. What was the other one? The split is here. But it was basically just like a mash. You would always pair 2 antagonistic pairs on the same day, and you would hit them twice a week with one rest day. And I'm really struggling to go through.
I just love that photo of the calves.
Oh, the calves. Well, do you know what? I've always, actually, for anyone listening, guarantee you've got small calves. But I've always trained calves. My calves have always been small. And I saw a reel recently of someone saying, is X muscle group worth training? For the amount of time I've put in, if I'd put that time into a different muscle group, would I have got more growth out of that than my calves? I think that's where you get the blurred line of like performance training. Versus, because obviously you need to strengthen your calves if you're like running. But if you're bodybuilding, it's probably worth way more time to spend on calves than just getting them ready.
But it's in bodybuilding, it's all about balance and symmetry across how you actually look. Like you're being fully judged on just the aesthetic makeup.
Oh, 100%.
And that's something that is like always a bit confusing to me, based off like, because I can see a line of bodybuilders on stage competing.
Yeah.
And I go, well, that guy on the right, he looks in great shape. But the guy on the completely other side on the left, he's the one who wins. And you're just like, I don't know what's being judged here, but it's based off like symmetry ratios from shoulders to waist. I don't understand it.
No,
I think
neither.
it's probably quite subjective, and it probably changes season on season depending what people.
I think it's also dependent on the judge as well.
100%
Like, I've seen
depends on the judge.
documentaries where they get up and they're like, oh, well, we know this judge is like that.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's crazy. And then it's like lots of base, especially when you're on stage, a lot is then how your routine is, like what your posing is like, what your tan looks like, and
which is great. Let's not even get into the tan.
I mean,
the
that's crazy. And I think a really easy way to start looking at how like bodybuilding and competing is Sam Sulik's YouTube channel.
Yeah, he's really good because it's so raw. It's like unedited.
Yeah, and he popped up a couple of years ago, and he's just like this young kid who's kind of crazy and like smashes the gym. And if you're into it, I think it's, depending on who you are, some of the monologues can be like quite tough to sit through and watch. But my favorite is when he's prepping for a show and he's like talking you through all the tanning process and like the backstage stuff, and then going on stage. Like, I think it's quite fun. Same with Chris Bumstead's YouTube channel. It's like really good. Ryan Terry does all good behind the scenes as well. They're good places to start. But yeah, it's just like a weird, wacky, crazy world.
It is a weird
if you're
world.
not involved in it.
I found the actual split. Sorry.
He's there.
Sorry for everybody. So bodybuilders would potentially do chest, shoulders, and God, I'm struggling today. Chest, shoulders, triceps, and calves on a Monday and Thursday. And then their legs, back, and biceps on Tuesday and Friday. And then they would have equal opportunity to rest each of those muscle groups when they're not training them, but then they would have 1 to 2 days rest per week. The classic split that has built into, similar to mine, is doing push-pull legs twice through one rest day.
Yeah.
Or push-pull legs, rest, push-pull legs, just on repeat regardless of weeks. And like, it is relatively known to work, but then there are a lot of people now that also have success doing upper, lower rest, upper, lower rest. And I think it is kind of all about, again, finding what works for you. But these guys would just live this day in, day out. Like, this was because of how popular it was. Gym wasn't really just like a thing that you do. Like, you lived it, you did it. Like, you also had your own friends community there. Like, it was because it was such a not rare thing, but because it wasn't a common thing. Like, it was kind of culty.
Yeah, for sure.
So like, you kind of lived and, I mean, it's basically today's CrossFit.
Well, I was going to say, which has now like become like wide scale socially popular.
Yeah.
So it's no longer viewed as that. But yeah, at the beginning, it was really like that for sure. A small community, everyone knew everyone. And there were lots of people who'd like compete against each other on stage, but actually train together as well. But yeah, it's fun to like watch Arnold training in the peak.
Well, in those videos, something I didn't realize until I was reading through the article that we've used to help us with today's episode, but Arnold always in those videos has multiple training partners. I thought that was just a hype thing. I thought that was a friend thing. No, it was because of the intensity at which he trained. So he is one of the high volume, high intensity lifters that we said. So doing loads and loads of sets. To get close to comp without having to do loads of cardio, his rest time between sets would be so low that in order for people to be able to train with him and push him by training with him, because he relied on that massively, he would need multiple training partners so that he could take one partner's rest and then go again. So he might do a set on bench, you would do one,
and then he goes,
then I go, then he goes, then you go, then he goes.
He's
so
like
he would
burning through
he would have
training
2
partners.
to 3 training partners in one session, and he would go like every other time, which is insane because he's still doing the same weight as them because he's that strong. But that's how they used to split it. For some of the other guys, they wouldn't need that at all because they are doing like one set with way more rest than one set. And again, that's just them figuring out what works for them. We do, however, one of the things that I was quite excited about was actually going into the programming of this, because the article that we found, by the way, we'll give the shout out, Old School Labs, a great website that's broken all of this down for us. We've spoken a little bit about their intensity, but I think it only becomes obvious when we start talking about what exercises they were doing and how those exercises looked in a session. So first and foremost, if we split this into the high volume intensity bodybuilder again and the low intensity bodybuilder, with the high intensity ones, they would often build like the pyramid through their sets. So they would start kind of from doing a warm-up set with very little weight on the bar, and they would just build and build and build until their top set was their last set. And then that would be that. Whereas the lower intensity, lower volume would basically warm up loads,
get so heavy, and then hold that.
Do the same weight for as long as possible, with as little drop off in reps as possible, but like that's acceptable. Which is like 2 totally different ways of training, which are quite stark in difference. But again, they both have their benefits. I think this is something that I freely admit. And when I was saying I would be interested to know if there's anything to carry, I do a bit of both. And I actually wonder if that's a problem. Should I be doing one or the other? Because for one of them, if back then they were understanding they needed loads of rest from one and not so much rest from another, if I'm doing both and I'm not giving them the right amount of rest, could be detrimental.
Adaptation.
I would argue probably I'm doing as much rest as the low intensity.
Well, you don't
as
look
the low
like
volume.
Schwarzenegger, I guess so.
Wow,
there might be something there.
So if we look at a 6-day split routine, if we start with the high volume workout,
it's so much there.
We're gonna run through a full session. We've got a program for both of these types of athlete. So Monday and Thursday, bench press, 5 sets of 6 to 10 reps. Followed by incline press, 4 sets of 6 to 10 reps. Followed by flat dumbbell flies, 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps. Followed by dumbbell pullovers. This is where we start getting some back involved. 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Wide grip chin-ups, 4 sets of 10 reps. Barbell rows, overhand wide grip, 4 sets of 6 to 10 reps. T-bar rows, 4 sets of 6 to 10 reps. And then finally, seated cable rows, 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps. However, in most of the videos and documentaries you see, they're going to failure on that. Also within that, drop sets will be a thing, which is something we'll talk a little bit more about for the low volume workout guys. But yeah, like that is one session.
If I go to the gym this afternoon and I do that, I'm not moving my arms for like 2.5 weeks.
Insane.
Yeah, it's mental.
The total volume, like I would say usually
That's a lot.
For a session for me, I'll do anywhere between 5 and 6 exercises, anywhere between 3 and 5 sets per exercise, depending on if I think it's an important exercise or not. That's basically double.
I'm so far away from this style of training at the moment that even just like doing 3 exercises on like one muscle group, I'm like, that's so excessive. And I hope my clients are listening to this now, because often I get complaints when I've put like 4 separate strength pieces in before they do their conditioning or their like hierarch specific stuff. That's like 8 different, I've got no eyesight anyway. That's like 8 to 10 different exercises that's all hitting, like you say, like upper body push pull, basically.
Yeah.
Mental.
The interesting thing though is also how it's written. So I know that a lot of people listening will go into the gym and do a workout and they won't necessarily know what order they should do things in. And through trial and error, both in what I feel gives a good output from the session itself, but also what I've seen progress with, for me, I will also preface that, I like to do, if I'm doing an upper session, all of my pushes,
Oh, really?
all of my pulls, and then finish with with anything accessory. So I will do the pushes because I feel like if you're targeting a particular muscle group, let's say like using this example, bench press and then incline press, the fatigue from the bench press falls directly into the incline press, but you can target the upper part of the chest that you're using a little bit more easily because it's going to go recruiting that.
Yeah.
If you gave yourself 10 minutes rest by then going and doing wide grip chin-ups and then come back to it, then you obviously will still be using your chest. You might be able to do slightly higher numbers, but it might be slightly harder to target that exact part of your chest that you're going for. So I would always, also for me, start with the most general compound lift possible, which is going to use all of the muscle group in the area before I start refining down. That's also the reason that I would leave in a workout like this, like if I was going to do triceps or biceps at the end of it, I would leave those at the end because I don't want my biceps to be tired before I do a row, because then it's actually going to be harder for me to use my back because my back is stronger than my arms as far as the muscles go.
I'm actually really different because I like to pair. I'll typically superset, but I guess that's more specific, I guess, to the training that I need. So I'm trying to almost do like complementary, where I'll do a push and a pull as a superset. So if I was going to do, I don't know, dumbbell bench, then I'm gonna then superset it with, I don't know, chest support row or something like that. So I get push pull. So on my upper days, which I maybe do once or twice a week, if that, that's how I would structure it. But for me, that's more like, I don't want to get flavor fatigue. And then I know how sore I will get if my programming is non-complementary and I did barbell bench, dumbbell bench, tricep extensions, or like skull crushers or whatever. I'm going to get to the end of that session and I'm just not going to be able to lift my arms over my head. And then the next day of training is going to be tough for me. So it's like, I've got to be mindful of my overall, but that's because I'm deconditioned to that style of training.
That's what I was gonna say. So you end up adapting to that. Like I'm way more adapted to that level of fatigue now than I would be if I was doing cross-functional training every single day of the week, because my body wouldn't recover so well generally right now, but muscle group to muscle group it recovers fine. Like a hard push day for me, similar to these guys, wouldn't necessarily affect my leg day. Whereas a tough high rocks class or a tough CrossFit class today, if I have another CrossFit class or high rocks class tomorrow, me right now, not going to do well on that.
I'm just thinking, if I do a hard upper day, I'm not even like able to get my hands onto the barbell for a back rack. So it's like, if I then want to go and back squat, that's going to be horrible for me.
Well, let's go into legs then. So
great.
This is where I decided we should do this episode. Okay, so this is a leg day basically, Tuesday and Friday. This is what the high volume bodybuilder guys are doing. Roman chair. So that's the thing for those that aren't familiar. You kind of put your thighs. How are you describing?
It's like a GHD. You put your feet in and then you like fall back.
You put your feet in, but you're kind of like at 45 degrees. Yeah. There's a pad on the front of your legs, and then you like hinge. Yeah. So do you know what would be easier? Go watch it on YouTube. I'll put a photo in.
You'll forget.
I won't. It's right here. So
I'm not reminding you of it.
Okay. But you get on the Roman chair, 4 sets of 100 reps.
I mean,
my hamstrings have left the chat at that point.
Yeah.
Maybe at 20 they've left the chat. But just body weight.
I don't think that makes any difference. That volume is crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah.
But then just in case you've got any energy left in your legs, you have a whole workout to do. So you've got lying leg raises, 4 sets of 50 reps each set. Straight away. Seated twists using a broomstick. I don't even know what that is.
That's got to be like a Russian twist.
I feel like, but using a broomstick?
Maybe like you've got to be watching on YouTube this incredible demonstration. That's what I'd assume.
But 3 sets of 50 reps on that as well. Then we're doing barbell
squats. I'm like, they're using that then. That's like almost their
I think that's pre-pump.
Yeah, and that's stuff. Like their warm-up, basically.
And then we're going into barbell squats, 5 sets of 6 to 10 reps. Vertical leg press, which is have you seen one of those?
Yeah, that's sweet.
Sick.
Yeah.
4 sets of 8 to 10 reps.
That's one of like my irrational fears is like
getting crushed.
But no, the other way is like hyperextending their knee at the top.
Yeah, no, I don't do leg press for that very reason.
Everyone can relate to that.
Then leg curls. If your hamstrings are still attached to the bone from the Roman chair sit-ups. But leg curls, 4 sets, 8 to 10 reps. Barbell stiff leg deadlifts, straight leg deadlifts, 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps. Standing calf raises, 4 sets of 6 to 12 reps. Donkey calf raises. Do you know what a donkey calf raise is?
I wish I knew.
Maybe we'll look that up.
I'm sure it's probably something that
Hold on a minute. Donkey calf raises using 1 to 2 guys on the back for weight. 4 sets of 12 to 20 reps. I feel like we kind of need to know what that is.
Yeah, you're gonna look that. I'm sure it's got another name, maybe.
Oh. Okay, so sorry, that was filler. We've got to the donkey thing. I'm gonna put a photo of that here as well.
You'll forget it.
So that's basically where you like bend over.
Yeah. I did know what this.
I do recognize.
I didn't know that was what it was called, though.
It was called.
That
It's
looks
funny. It's funny.
They don't have many machines, but they got one of these.
But interestingly,
I've never seen
I'm
one
going
of
to
them
put
in
this
the gym.
photo up as well, because this is what they meant by putting a person on the
Oh,
back.
so they didn't have a machine.
They didn't have a machine. They were using benches.
That looks jokes.
That's hilarious. This is, so by the way, this is a legit movement for your calves, and this is why everyone has small calves today, because we're not doing this in public gyms.
Imagine we did this in the gym.
If I walked into Pure Gym and I saw this, I think I'd turn around and leave. Incredible. What a movement. This is why they had no friends. This is why they were only friends with each other, because this was acceptable.
That's so
back in the day. Okay, anyway.
We digress.
We digress. Wednesday and Saturday. So the last day of the split before you get your rest day. So we've got seated press behind the neck. Risky. If you're not trained to that, don't just go in there and do that, because you'll get a crick in your neck. Side lateral raises with dumbbells, 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Bent over lateral raises, span the shoulders.
Love
4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Barbell upright rows, 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. At this point,
I'm done.
So done.
I was already
pick
done.
anything up.
Yeah.
Can't use my phone between sets.
This is the longest day.
Barbell shrugs, 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Tricep pushdowns, 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Lying tricep extensions, 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps. Seated one arm dumbbell tricep extensions, 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Incline curls, 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Also a great exercise. Barbell curls, 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps.
Oh my God.
One arm concentration curls, 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Reverse barbell curls, that's for the forearms. 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Barbell wrist curls, also forearms. 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Have you ever done those?
Yeah, I love them.
Do you do them all the time?
Yeah.
I think I've seen you doing that on your screen. I've never done one.
Really?
Not one.
Oh, the pumps unraveled.
I don't have the biggest
I
forearms.
went through a phase of like, I just wanted a really big neck and really big forearms. I was like, that's the most alpha thing ever. If you have like
ChatGPT, post that photo right here.
huge forearms. No, it'll give me body dysmorphia, because I'll be like, I wish I looked like that guy. Like the Charles Leclerc neck. Yeah. But then it's just like, I wonder, like, they just clearly wanted humongous arms, and that was like the only thing that they cared about.
Yeah.
God, that's a long day. I might try that in the gym, you know.
We should film ourselves trying to do this week.
Yeah.
But
I'm not walking ever again, bro.
yeah, no. But this is the crazy thing. So that's the high volume. I think that's pretty obvious in what we're talking about. But even the low volume,
there's a lot of variation. There's lots of exercise variation.
There's still lots of exercises. There's just less sets.
Yeah.
And you can tell that the reps are lower. So park what we just told you, and now we're going to go into the low volume workout. So on a Monday, we'd be doing incline barbell press.
So they've kind of like combined bench press and then not then doing incline. They're just doing both. They're just doing
exactly
press.
that.
Yeah.
So 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps. Then incline dumbbell flies, 2 to 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps. Weighted dips, 2 sets of 6 reps.
Nice.
Reverse grip lat pull downs, 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps.
I love that.
One arm dumbbell rows, 3 sets of 6 reps. Deadlifts off the floor, 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps. Seated machine press, 3 sets of 6 reps. Upright rows, 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps. Machine double lateral raises, 2 to 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps.
If you can find a lateral raise machine in the gym, God, they're good.
So, Park Club Milton, if you're local, go there. They've got one. Incredible. Weirdly, Anytime Fitness in Leatherhead, Surrey, also had one. I walked in there and I was like, what is this doing here? The rest of their equipment's falling apart. That thing is spotless.
Because no one uses it.
No one uses it, but it's great.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite machines. I think like this is so wishy-washy. I'm sure I've said this on the podcast before. I don't know if we must have done bodybuilding or spoken about bodybuilding at some point, maybe last year. But I remember, and I used Ryan Terry as well as an example. Maybe it was when he was winning as Olympia. But your actual like intensity when you're lifting. And I think this is why there's a bit of controversy between like the golden age and like classic bodybuilding versus what bodybuilding looks like now, where you can go and sit on a machine and it's like the geometry is perfect for hitting the muscle group. And it's very easy to just go on it and just do the exercise and not really think about it.
It's not for me at all.
But oh really? Yeah. But when you're like lifting a barbell or when you're lifting dumbbells, it's much easier to like think about the actual muscle contraction and the part of the body that you're trying to grow and develop strength in. And Ryan Terry talks about it, and he's like, kind of take this with a pinch of salt because it sounds really wishy-washy, but I truly believe in it. It's like the mind-muscle connection, and when you really think about the contraction, even without weight, you can do it. You can think about the parts of the muscle that you're trying to hit. It's so effective, and it's so satisfying, and I can see why these guys were all addicted to the feeling.
Have you ever done it in your training where, let's say you're doing calves, for example, you're doing seated calf raises?
Never.
Have you ever touched the muscle when you're trying to contract it?
Yeah.
Just to help that mind muscle.
Oh, yeah.
Which, if you haven't done that, genuinely is an experience. If you're doing a bit of training and you've seen, I don't know.
Well, I think like when I was, because it was something like I went through my bodybuilding era, and I was like, I really got into it, and I even followed a pretty rigid structure with my training. And like when I was learning about muscle contraction, and you can't quite get there because maybe you don't have enough control yet, that's like you touch it and like really try and focus on moving that part of the muscle. But now I'm like, I have much better body control, and I can do it without like, I can think now about contracting my calves in a calf raise, and I'm getting that muscle group.
I do think if you're trying,
it's an experience.
I mean, you said it as well. Like, you might walk into a gym and see a machine, and you don't really know how it works. So you then sit down and it says it's supposed to be working your lat. But you can't really feel it.
You're just feeling your biceps.
Start holding
or whatever.
your lat,
and
then start doing the movement, and you'll notice it. So that is a really good tip if you're trying new pieces of equipment, new movements, and you have the ability. If you're training with a partner that you know well, if it's a movement where your hands are occupied and they can poke you, then just albeit probably not if you're doing like glute thrusts or something like that. It's a bit weird.
Iranian deadlifts.
Yeah. But then this session, one of the things that we've mentioned, the number of sets would be different, but I think one of the really interesting is I don't think many people go into the gym these days and do 2 sets of an exercise.
No.
But Chris Bumstead says this. Sometimes he'll do 1 set because he knows then in his head to get
full intensity,
it has to be everything. If you're going to go to failure, doing 1 set is often better than trying to do 3 sets to failure, because you'll always keep something in the tank for the other 2 sets. Which is an interesting approach.
I think it depends also like what you're training for. Like none of my clients are like, hey Charles, I want to do a bodybuilding show. But I'm working with a few CrossFitters, and like the strength stuff, we follow like similar to conjugate method. Like you do a couple of warm-up sets, and then it's 2 sets of like a percentage loading of, I don't know, like close grip bench or whatever, or back squats, doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's something that's like a little bit newer in the way that I'm programming for some of my clients. If it matches their requirements for what they're trying to develop, then like smaller amount of sets is always good, I think.
Yeah. From Monday, for the low volume bodybuilders, they would take a day off.
Nice.
So it's easy Tuesdays for them. Wednesdays back in the gym this time.
But I think that's like as a result of the, like you say, if you're doing less sets and less volume, the weight's going to be much higher. So it's like your central nervous system, as well as like the muscular adaptation or the breakdown in the muscle, it needs a day.
Oh yeah,
it needs a day.
And I mean, arguably they're giving it longer than that, because when they come back on Wednesday and they're doing legs, they're still not training that upper body. So a leg session for these guys will look like leg extensions, 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, full barbell squats, 3 sets of 6 to 10 reps, hack squats, 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps, leg curls, 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps, weighted hyperextensions, 3 sets of 10 reps, standing calf raises, 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps, close grip bench press. I love my leg days when they got bench press in.
Yeah.
3 sets of 6 to 8 reps, overhead barbell extensions, 3 sets of 8 reps, seated dumbbell curls, 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps, and lastly, barbell preacher curls, 2 sets of 6 reps.
So many good exercises.
So I have also always been given the advice, if you are struggling to do your leg days,
Train
do a
some
bit
biceps. Yeah.
that'll get you there.
Yeah. Always a little treat.
For sure. But one thing, sorry, I do want to mention, the very first exercise was leg extensions before it got into squats and hack squats, which are both pretty intense for your quads ordinarily. That's the problem. Specifically with blokes, I would say, we don't do much glute training as a primary thing. That's an unfair generalization. I think there are lots of women that train and don't have a glute focus, but within the male community, I think glute training is less common. As a result of the leg extensions being first, because your quads are already fatigued, it means that you do end up relying a lot more on your glutes to get you through the movements like squats and like hack squats, which was just their way of training arguably one of the biggest muscles in the body.
Yeah.
But making sure, again, they're actually having to target that by pre-fatiguing, and then they go on to leg curls and weighted hyperextensions to start working that posterior chain a bit more. Again, because the glutes are fatigued, it's easier to hit the hamstrings, which often light up before the glutes. Are the glutes lazy?
It seems to be like everyone's like blanket problem. It's just like, oh, there's some sort of pain somewhere. Oh, you've probably got weak glutes. I mean, it could be anything. It could be like just range through your hips or something like that. But I usually would give that same blanket advice as like, if you can warm up your glutes properly, it's going to help lots of different things.
Yeah, for sure. But as far as a day goes, it's pretty much a mix of that on repeat. So that would be Monday, Wednesday, then day off again, then Friday, Sunday.
I'm trying to think of like what I prefer. Like I like the fact that this one currently doesn't have any donkey calf raises in it. That's mental, isn't it?
That you can also do this one on your own, because the other one you have to take a friend to sit on your back.
So weird. Imagine asking a random stranger in the gym if they'd sit in your back.
Can you imagine someone coming over? You take your AirPod out.
Do you mind?
Do you mind? And so you're like ready to spot them. So you've already said yeah, because you feel super, super chuffed that they've chosen you to spot them. But in actual fact, they're just going to ask you to sit on their back instead.
Oh my God. I don't know if I would ever say yes. What the type of person would have to be for me to say yes? If Arnold Schwarzenegger asked me, I'd do it.
Oh, for sure.
For sure, yeah.
Straight away. But I mean, obviously there's variation and there's other movements that they would do, but a large amount of these movements are done with very, very basic forms of equipment, which, as a reminder, if you heard some of these exercises and you weren't able to visualize what they are, you're not doing them enough.
Yeah.
Genuinely, like, there's evidence in the way that they looked, and there's evidence in the fact that if you tried to do bodybuilding right now, a lot of these movements would still be in the program. They worked, and they worked really well. And like I said earlier on in the episode, the reason they worked, and if you go and look at any of the videos of them doing it and they're explaining their training, they will pick up a dumbbell and they'll say, oh, a lot of people do lateral raises like this. And they'll show you, because they've got the muscle definition to show you, and I actually saw a video on this morning, but if you pick your arm up the way that most people do a lateral raise, you can see the point at which it goes from side delt to front delt. And in actual fact, if you just lean forward slightly while keeping your chest out, it stays side delt the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons.
That's the importance of, if you're looking to train like this style, or you really want to develop a certain muscle group, it's so easy for your body to compensate. So it's like,
so easy.
Even just the example of a lateral raise and it turning into like a front raise rather than the lateral head. Like, you can just shrug your shoulder and you're actually just using a trap. And that's why people have such overdeveloped traps. Same when you do a pull-up. If you shrug your shoulders, you're getting so little activation through the lat that you're basically just using your biceps and your traps.
Yeah.
So it's just like having a little bit more control, maybe doing less reps so you can control it with a lighter load to start with, and just developing that overall proprioception is like really important to bodybuilding.
But as much as this has all been about bodybuilding, I would argue that these are the forefathers of strength training in all sports. Because yes, these guys were jacked beyond use. Like, they're not going to be doing anything crazy in sports and that sort of thing. But a lot of the generation of athletes, which really started to change sport, started going to the gym for aesthetics.
Yeah.
Discovered the benefits that it was giving them in size and strength and plyometric ability.
I do think like Arnold especially, like he was gigantic, and it's hard to really get an idea of how big he was because you never saw him in person. But like actually he was pretty athletic for such a big person.
Yeah.
So what I also think is like, I don't know if it's still a misconception, but bodybuilding's difficult, like really difficult. And like the commitment and dedication and also like consistency with your training. These guys are so dedicated and like you can't take that away from them. It's like you don't just go into the gym and do a couple bicep curls and end up looking like, I don't know, Kai Green or whatever. But
that's not what most girls that are getting into strength training would tell you though. They don't want to be too bulky.
Yeah.
Take me in as an example. If that was possible, I'd be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
I've been trying for years, absolute years. And do you know what? This is going to be a great segue. It's a horrible segue. I don't know why I've said that. Look at these calves. They're tiny in comparison to what they should be. But more importantly, look at what I've got on.
Nice.
I've got high socks, grip socks. We've got more stuff from High Socks and High Style coming out on the table. We've got towels, we've got nose strips, we've got more socks in cooler colors. High Socks do a great job of supporting us on the podcast. So we would love to give a little bit back to them by telling you to go and get your grip socks, go and get your gym towels so you don't be a sweaty person in this heat, and go and get your nose tape so you can breathe easier from their website. So if you head to High Style or if you head to High Socks and you use code mindset15, you get 15% off. You also get a great order from whatever you order, whether that's socks or not, but it also gives us a little bit of love so we can do more cool things on the podcast and bring you more cool shows. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to use that segue to get into grind my gears.
Nice.
There's been some gears grinding this week.
Yeah.
We've got some funny ones to talk about, I think. So do you want to kick us off?
Yeah. I'd heard rumors of this happening before, and in my 10 years nearly of working in the fitness industry, it never happened to me. But because of the heat, I think this week, it happened to me for the first time. Someone arrived to my class without a shirt. Like, arrived. Yeah, I know. Like, in the CrossFit gym, in the CrossFit world, CrossFit community, taking your top off when you train.
That's got to be earned.
Yeah, but also, like, it's so acceptable. Like, you can do it, whatever, unless you go to some specific gyms. But most gyms, taking your top off is so fine. But there's always the joke of, like, someone takes their top off in the warm-up, like, you've gone too early. Arriving to the gym, that's too much. No shirt. And then what? You walk home sweaty. And, like, how far have you traveled with no shirt on? Like, that in itself is socially unacceptable.
That's like getting on a plane to go to a High Rocks or in carbon-plated shoes.
Exactly the same thing. With no top on.
Yeah, with no top on.
In your 5-inch shorts.
Yeah, that's not allowed. We won't allow that
too
one.
Much.
Number one that I've got submitted this week is hay fever.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Just generally just taking them out. Can't see, can't breathe through the nose, coughing.
What is this like? You people with hay fever?
Yeah. I don't have hay fever.
That would be so tough if you did. Yeah.
Could never be me. But that rolls me into my second grind my gear.
Yeah.
People with hay fever.
Get over it.
You're allergic to the outside. Humans have existed on this planet for a ridiculous amount of time.
At what point did you go, oh, grass?
Yeah. I can't wake up today because I can't breathe out of my nose or see anything.
Yeah.
Because outside is still there.
Yeah, shame. Survival of the fittest, isn't it?
Boy, it's not anymore. That's the problem.
Because you can
They've
buy
made
antihistamines.
tablets for these people that can't take a step outside of their house.
I know.
It's crazy.
Shame, isn't it?
Are you allergic?
You don't say that because you don't have it.
Oh, sorry, have you got allergies? Is it the dog? No, it's not the dog. It's just here. It's everywhere, actually. Insane.
Yeah, shame.
Childish, grow up. Another one from you?
I didn't think I'd ever see this. Someone running with a handheld fan, like, out in front of them.
Surely no one's running with a handheld fan.
Yeah, they looked really red, though. It wasn't working.
Question, were they running?
I think they were trying to.
Oh, okay. Because like, my advice would be run faster.
And get the airflow. It was really hot. But then I'm like, don't go running if it's going to be that bad.
I would also argue that trying to run while holding that
It's
up
even
is going to
harder.
make you hotter
God, it was tough
than
to
not
see.
bothering.
Yeah. Like, I understand it in theory, but it's just like,
No, I don't understand.
can
it
you
in
not
theory.
just wait 30 minutes of a run to then go and stand by a fan? Yeah, it was just all too much.
Underrated piece of equipment at the moment in the hot weather, by the way, the air bike.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
2-in-1.
I was working out the other day and I was sat on the rower with the air bike right behind me and someone was just blasting. I was like, this is so good. So good.
I like that.
Yeah.
Another grind my gear that I have got is non-athletes comparing themselves to athletes. So this one comes with a brief story. And I'm also going to I've put in brackets in the notes. This is basically the whole of the podcast.
Like, that's just us.
That is the podcast. That is what we do.
I'm gonna talk about my own experience here.
But basically what I experienced yesterday, I was on a train and someone asked if they could move over to allow for someone else to sit next to them. They said, yeah, sure, whatever. They realized they were both wearing football t-shirts. They were going to, I think it was Soccer Aid yesterday.
Yeah.
So they were heading into London to watch the game and they started talking. And turned out one of them, both women, one of them used to play for West Brom and used to play for another professional team. This was a while ago though, so it wasn't like they were getting paid loads. It was more like they were good enough to play for the team, but that was about it. So she was talking about, her experience. The other one was saying, I play football now. I used to play as well, like kind of thing. They were having this conversation about their training and I was kind of eavesdropping because I was like, this is kind of interesting. Hearing about them talk about women's sport, which and I was like, oh, okay. Gets to the point where the woman who had clearly been quite good at football said, oh, so like, how long had you been playing? Like, what team were you playing for? Because the other woman hadn't said. Oh, no, I'm talking about when I was back at school.
Oh, no.
And I used to play for my local team. Oh, okay. And you said you play now? Oh, yeah, just me and a few of the neighbours. We sometimes play in one of their gardens. Nah, come on. You can't be having a conversation where like the conversation was, oh, our training used to actually be really difficult around work because it used to be like 3 hours on a Wednesday is what this woman's saying. And the other one's like, oh, yeah, don't get me wrong. After a day's work, sometimes I just really don't want to do it. Go over to your neighbour's house and kick a ball about in a garden. You can't be comparing that. And it was what was awful was the timing of the question for that to happen because we were half an hour into a 1 hour train journey.
Yeah.
So right at the midpoint where they've built up this seemingly great understanding of each other and like the sport, only for now half an hour of awkward silence.
That's tough.
It was horrible. I'm so glad I wasn't involved, but I felt uncomfortable still because I was near them.
No.
Yeah. So I don't like that. I'm also going to present a grind my gear. This is phenomenal, by the way. Charles won't say it because he's scared that I'm going to make it a reel. So I am going to make it a reel. For you guys listening, you'll understand that. Why do football fans think that putting on a football jersey and going to a game means they can just be total pricks out and about in the public, just going and like breaking stuff, stealing stuff, being horrible people to other people that don't care about football?
Standing on like top of buses. Like I've seen like they're crowded round a bus and there are people like climbing on the top of it, just letting off flares. I'm like,
almost certainly catcalling any woman that walks past.
oh yeah, definitely, for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And then it's just the law doesn't seem to apply to you once you've won the Premier League, does it?
But also this ties well into grind my gears. Arsenal fans, hilarious timing of their victory parade. Those that don't know, Arsenal won the Premier League. They lost the UEFA Champions League final on Saturday night, and they had their Premier League victory parade on Sunday morning, which meant that what you had was a large number of incredibly sad Arsenal fans in their jerseys going and doing this parade to celebrate losing the Champions League.
Yeah,
basically. That was basically what happened. And still being complete yobs the whole time.
No. Also, like the PSG fans as well. I saw lots of videos of them like just clashing with the police and like rioting in Paris. And I'm like, I don't get it.
No, not at all. I think that rounds us off. Is there anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, cool. Well, we're doing the game. This week,
hiding the laptop screen.
I'm hiding the laptop screen again because we've got a good game. And the reason that I'm so confident throughout this episode that I'm going to edit in the photos for people to watch, if you haven't moved over to watch the podcast yet for this episode, please do so. Again, while you're there, subscribe, share it with
We're nearly
family
at 500 subscribers on YouTube.
We are very nearly.
Very
also,
close.
a big thank you. I think I said this last episode. We've crossed, or maybe I didn't.
No, I don't think
We've
you
crossed 500 followers on Spotify.
Yeah.
Which is huge. So massive thank you. We obviously are extremely competitive, and Spotify at the same time as telling me that told me that podcasts of our number of episodes and our average listeners should be at least 750.
Yeah.
So we're now 248 short. If you haven't followed us on Spotify or wherever you choose to listen or watch the podcast, please do so. And likewise, go over to the social media. We want to do cool things with you, and we need you to be following along so you can see us do these cool things. Okay? Thank you. It's free. The game this week, there's going to be photos involved. This is why I'm saying it's a good opportunity to go over, because you might want to look at what I'm talking about. Today, Charles, we're doing what costs more.
Oh, I love it.
But we're doing what costs more at launch.
Oh,
You're going to love this because you like collabs and style.
yeah, I do.
So here we go. Round one.
Okay.
Which costs more at launch? Crocs collabing with Post Malone on their Duet Matte Clog in black. That's 2020.
Yeah.
Or Puma
Oh.
when they collabed with Rihanna for the Fenty Creeper. Both of which here.
I thought you were going to do the Umbro collab with
We've got
Crocs.
multiple rounds.
Oh, okay.
But no, I'm not doing that.
Which costs more? Do you have a year for the Rihanna collab?
I actually don't.
I'm going to go with the Rihanna collab.
Okay, so the Rihanna collab for the Rihanna Fenty Creeper with Puma was $120 at launch. The Crocs Post Malone Duet Max Clog in black from the year 2020, $59.99. So you are right. What I will say though,
Now you're going to ask for resale.
no,
value.
I'm not. I went and looked because I couldn't believe that it came out at $59.99.
Yeah.
Current resale for that specific one, you can get certain sizes obviously less, but I think the highest price I saw was like $900. However, the very first Post Malone Crocs Duet clog was done and is now up for $2,100 on goat.com.
Mental.
Crazy. Round two, which costs more at launch? Nike collabing with the Supreme on the Air Force One White,
Yeah.
or Adidas collabing with Kanye West for the Yeezy Boost 350 V2 Zebra. Both again, nicely appearing.
I think
here.
like when they launched the Supreme collab, I'm going to say like, I'm sure it would have been through a raffle unless you could buy it on Supreme. I don't think it would have been crazy. Same with the 350s with Adidas, but like their resale value now is I think anything Kanye's dropping in like the sneaker market at the moment is not great. I'm gonna say the Supreme collab at launch. And the Zebras, hang on. Because that was maybe I'm gonna stick with my gut. I think the Supreme collab would have been more expensive.
Okay, so the Supreme collab with Nike for the Air Force One White was $220 at launch.
For an Air Force One.
For an Air Force One.
Yeah.
Versus the Yeezy Boost, which depending on where you got it, like what country, cheapest you could get it was $96.
Fine.
Most expensive was $120. So you are right.
Yeah.
And that kind of follows because anything Supreme is expensive from the get-go, let alone resale.
Like the resale value on the Supreme. I actually had a friend who he lives in Air Force Ones, like lives them. He has white pair and a black pair, and for whatever function they work, and
That's
then like
sick.
each like 6 months he'll just replace.
I rate that. So
But he got married. It was actually on the weekend over in the States, and I think he had all white tux and then wore the white Supreme Air Force Ones.
sick.
Kind of a vibe.
cool.
Yeah.
well, we're actually staying with Nike for this one. I think you either have or really want one of these shoes. Okay, so which costs more at launch? Round three. Nike collabing with Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Low Reverse Mocha.
Oh, okay. The mockers.
Yeah. Or New Balance when they collabed with Jaden Smith on the Vision Racer White.
Oh, okay. Good question. Because at like launch, the reverse mockers were one of the first pairs that they released, like one of the first collabs they did with Travis Scott. It's now probably resell the most expensive one. because I think it's maybe one of the most rare. So like I was looking at resale probably yesterday. I like it's like size 10 is like probably close to 2K,
Okay.
which is the most expensive, even with like the sneaker market where it is at the moment.
Yeah.
But I think when they were sold at launch, probably retail like for I'd say somewhere like close to maybe $200. I don't really know about the New Balance collab. I'm still gonna go with, it might be a curveball. Do you know when they were launched originally?
No, I'm not got days for these ones.
Okay, I'll just stick with the Travis Scotts.
Okay, you are correct. The Travis Scotts, when they came out, were released at about $150.
Okay.
And the New Balance were released at $100.
Okay, cool.
It's crazy. Imagine now getting either of those shoes for that price. Crazy. Round 4, which cost more at launch? Nike with their Off-White Air Jordan 1 Chicago.
Fuck, okay.
Or Adidas with the Gucci Gazelle.
Wow.
Big swingers here.
Yeah. I think like that's one of the most iconic Nike collabs of all time. You're thinking of like the high top. Like that trainer, I think at some point when the market value for sneakers was high was like probably close to 20 grand.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And like I think they were still expensive when they were released. I think they were like more expensive than normal because it was like the Off-White collab. I'd say anywhere between like, I'm guessing like $250 to $500 maybe, which is really expensive for a retail trainer.
I mean, you say that, but if you see anyone with an Off-White, which is, you can usually tell, like if you're going to see someone around and about, it's got the tag.
Yeah.
If you see anyone with an Off-White pair of Chicago Air Jordan 1s, they're fake.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, yeah, they'll be fake.
They're so fake.
Yeah. No one's wearing them.
No.
And if you are, you're actually just mental.
Yeah.
And because of like their release time, like a lot of them now, the white on the train is like yellowing a little bit, like you can tell. So then the Gucci, I'm just like thrown by, I'm not good with like actual designer brands, but I know they'll be expensive. But it was a Gazelle. I'm gonna go with the Gucci because I think anything Gucci is probably more expensive than Nike.
So what I have here as my source is that the Adidas Gucci Gazelle was released at $190. The Nike Off-White Air Jordan 1 Chicago was released at $620.
I hate myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dumb. But then I'm like, I thought if you walked into Gucci to buy a pair of shoes, it would probably cost like,
Yeah.
it's a bit like the AP Swatch collab.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was tough. I should have done better on that one.
So round 5, by the way, it's 8 rounds, but round 5, Nike collabing with Drake on the Nocta Hot Step Air Terror, or Adidas with their Prada Superstar.
Again, you've thrown me with the designer brands I'm not good with. I'm just not interested in like Gucci and Prada. I don't necessarily love the Drake shoe. I'm going to go with the Prada.
Unfortunately, didn't learn from last round. $600 for the Drake Nike shoe and $180 for the Adidas Prada. Basically, what it's saying like is if you want a branded collab from a style, go to Adidas.
Yeah.
They've got Molly May as well.
Have they?
Yeah. Have you not seen that?
No.
Molly May designed a shoe.
Really?
Yeah. Beige.
Oh, nice.
Just like a lot of other things, really, in that sort of aesthetic. Okay. Round 6. Which cost more at launch? Crocs with Balenciaga for the platform Crocs.
That's a great shoe.
Or the Nike Travis Scott Air Trainer 1 Wheat.
Oh, okay. I don't love that Travis Scott that much. If I was going to have one of those shoes, it would be the Balenciaga Croc for sure. I think now I have to stick with designer and not learn from my mistake again just because it's Balenciaga. Because the Travis Scotts, when they retail, aren't actually like crazy expensive. I'd say like when that was released, like max, that's $250. The Balenciaga Croc. But then it's like the Croc. I'll stick with the Balenciaga Croc.
Okay, so the Balenciaga Croc I've got here came out at $850.
Yeah, fine.
And the Nike Travis Scott Air Trainer 1 Wheat came out at $140.
Fine.
Yeah, the sneaky game is wild.
The thing is, I'm like, people go, that is absolutely mental for a pair of shoes. But there's like there's some trainers which have made like one of maybe a couple of pairs, or like some collabs that they made like 10 to 20 pairs for like friends and family for a certain person, and it's like go for like 60 grand if you can get your hands on them. There's just like there's no market value because they don't exist and you can't get them.
Well, the relevance of the quiz was actually that when I very first got into training in the gym and I discovered, you know, I've got small calves, I was given the advice by a YouTuber, Don Mazzetti, that you just got to wear Air Jordans. They just cover your ankles a bit. They make your ankles look thicker, and then your calves just look less small.
And ever since,
I've always had one pair of Air Jordans.
You must. Yeah.
There we go. I actually need a new set, so I might go and get myself
some Travis Scotts.
Some fake ones by the looks of that list.
Never.
I reckon.
Never.
Are we walking around in the off-whites?
Yeah.
The off-whites.
The thing is, like, because I'm quite immersed in that culture, and it's like everyone talking about the sneaker game being so inexpensive at the moment, but you're still like close to $1,000 for a pair of Travis Scott collabs.
Question though.
Yeah.
I've got two questions for you, because one's real that I saw earlier in the week. But question from this: is it acceptable to buy fake shoes like the Travis Scotts and use them as golf shoes?
See, I like the Travis Scott golf shoes, that collab, like that's held its value. They're like resale now for like close to $1,000 as well. I just think I don't mind you buying replica fakes. It's just where they're coming from and where that money's then going to. And you never know the kind of, it's like the moral dilemma, like who's creating that fake and what that money's going to fund. Because it's usually like, as harmless as it seems, buying fake shoes or fake watches, like the money is going to some sort of criminal organization. And like, you don't want to, no one's going to know. No one really.
We're getting political, Charles.
Yeah,
we don't do that.
Sorry.
We don't do that here.
Yeah. So just don't buy them in the first place. You're better off like buying a colorway of a Air Jordan that looks a little bit like a Travis Scott. But also, like, because everyone's wearing Travis Scotts and everyone's wearing fake Travis Scotts, it's no longer cool.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm past that hype. They're also about to launch new ones, pink ones, but
Ooh, I'll get in the raffle for those.
Oh, I'm in the raffle.
Okay, so big question for those that have made it this far in the podcast. Basically, what I'm about to ask Charles is the new triathlon.
Ooh.
So off the back of a reel that I saw.
Oh, I think we might have seen the same thing.
But I'm going to represent what I think is the finalized version.
Is it more than 3?
No, it's only 3 sports.
Oh, it's fine. Then we saw something different, but there's something I want to do.
Okay. So basically, improving the triathlon needs to be done because everybody hates swimming. So just suck the swimming off. In fact, the fastest way to improve your swimming in an Ironman is to just bike more. So instead of doing that,
I'm so keen.
What we do is we start off with the bike straight away. Mm-hmm. So in this, it's just a 50k bike. Easy. Then we do 10k run.
Easy.
Okay. And then we do 18 holes of golf.
I'm the GOAT.
Okay. 18 holes of golf. Now, your time counts. Each shot counts double in minutes.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay.
So you have to find the balance between taking your time and not taking too much time.
Correct.
Oh, I like that.
Every beer you consume
Oh, no, I don't love it.
on the golf course saves you 5 minutes.
Oh, no. Okay.
But your final score still counts.
But does it matter when you consume the beer?
It has to be while you're, like, it has to be before the final shot.
Okay, so in theory, I could take my time. I could like have a couple of shots where I'm like, that didn't go that well. But I get to the end and I'm about to make my final 1 foot putt. And then I just like neck 18 beers.
Yeah.
And save myself 18 times 5 minutes.
You could do that.
And then miss the 1 foot because I'm so drunk. Oh, I like that.
I think this is the new triathlon. I'm going to try and think about benchmark times.
We should do it. We should set a benchmark.
I want people to think about this deeply. So 50k bike,
2 hours, let's say.
10k run, 18 holes of golf,
minutes.
18 holes of golf,
4 hours,
beer allowance. If you have a theory on how long that would take you, you need to put it in the comments. Or you need to send it to us. We want to come up with a benchmark for this test.
I'm going to do it.
The key here...
You can save an hour and a half if you have a beer every hole.
The key here
I didn't just
is
use my calculator for that.
the key here for this to actually happen, and I'll steal this from the original reel, the bike and the run have to be done together. They have to be done back to back. The time between that and the golf can be, as long as it's the same day, it can be separate.
In my head, it's so easy because you're biking and finishing in Richmond Park. You can even bike around Richmond Park. You can then run in Richmond Park, and then you've got your golf clubs in the car, and you go and play at Richmond.
Can do.
I'll message Richmond Golf Club immediately.
Get the MindSets podcast on. We've got a hell of a challenge.
Imagine that we organise this.
The Richmond Classic.
Is the inaugural event. I love this.
Let's do it. 100th episode?
I'm winning as well. No one's coming close.
I've got a bike now.
Even so, my
I
bike's
can
faster.
ride it.
Do you have to wear? You need like a specific.
I'm getting
A tri-suit, but it looks like a golf outfit.
So this is the issue in a normal triathlon. Your bike might be faster. You might swim more than me. I'll drink more beers than you.
This is the problem. And I don't mind losing if that's the case.
I reckon what I would do for golf,
this
by the
has
way.
motivated me to do more drinking.
Yeah, here we go. This is my only chance, is we both have to do more drinking because I'll handle it better and you'll get worse at golf.
Yeah.
I reckon I'd need 1 or 2 beers early in to calm me down. I'll play better golf.
True.
But then
Straight
4
off the
or
run,
5 beers.
little
in,
cold, cheeky one.
yeah, why not?
This is a summer sport. I love this a lot. This is good.
This is the future of triathlon.
This is huge. This is good.
The Richmond Classic, we'll bring it for episode 100. Arguably, we probably have 2 spare spaces for the golf.
The 4-ball.
Yeah.
Bring your bike.
Yeah.
Bring some trainers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here we go. Well, that concludes our episode. If you've got your benchmark times, please do put them in the comments. While you're there, make sure you're hitting subscribe. Put notifications on in case we upload something random. In fact, we might be uploading the games again independently, just for those that want to just watch those. We can direct you to go and do that. But if you're wanting to see some juicy reels, if you're wanting to see us annoy coaches or whatever on socials because they seem to want to comment on our reels, then please do so. Head over to any of our social platforms at mindsets_podcast, drop a follow, drop a comment, drop a like, send it to everybody, wherever you're watching. And we appreciate every single little thing that you do. Genuinely, we are still very small in this space, so we see every individual like, share, everything like that. So that is me for this episode. Anything else from you?
I've got nothing to add.
Amazing. We've got a big couple of weeks coming up, guys. We've got the World Cup episode coming next time. We've even then got to think about the High Rocks World Champs coming round, and then we've got the Tour de France kicking off as well. So ain't no rest for the wicked. We look forward to seeing you guys in episode 92.